Love grows fierce and powerful when it collides with obstacles and hardship. Romain Rolland. There are moments in life when love feels like anger, when care sounds like shouting, when the person who loves us the most is the one we misunderstand the most. And sometimes it takes a stranger, a gentle word, a small kindness, a quiet reminder to reveal the love we walked away from. Tonight's story is not about grand sacrifice or dramatic reconciliations. It is about something smaller, but far more familiar. The hurt between a mother and her child, the distance created by pride, and the unexpected kindness that opened the girl's eyes to a truth she had forgotten. This story unfolds on an ordinary street, outside a small bakery, where a hungry girl learned that the love she ran from was the love she depended on most. It began with words spoken too quickly, sharp, heated, full of hurt that neither meant. A girl, maybe 15, stood face to face with her mother in the living room, voices rising, emotions flaring, the kind of argument fueled not by hatred, but by frustration and fear. "You never listen to me," the girl had shouted. "And you don't understand how hard I try," her mother shouted back. One final clash, one final, painful sentence, and the girl grabbed her coat, slammed the door, and fled into the cold. The wind hit her face sharply, as if the world itself was scolding her. She walked quickly, her breath trembling, her eyes burning with unshed tears. She was angry. She was hurt. And under all that, she was hungry. After a long walk, she passed by a small bakery glowing softly in the winter evening. Warm light spilled through the windows and into the street. Inside, golden pastries sat neatly in rows. Steam rose from fresh bread, and the scent of sugar and butter wrapped around her like a warm blanket. Her stomach tightened painfully. She reached into her pockets. Nothing. Not a coin. Not even a crumpled bill. Her shoulders slumped. She looked down and whispered to herself, "Of course." The exhaustion of the fight, the weight of her pride, the sharp bite of hunger, all of it collapsed into a lump in her throat. She stood in front of the bakery window, trying not to cry. The shop was nearly empty. But inside, an elderly woman, the shopkeeper, noticed her. Her thin coat, her red eyes, her trembling hands, the woman's heart softened. The shopkeeper stepped outside, wiping her hands on her apron. "Sweetheart," she said gently, "are you hungry?" The girl froze. Her pride rose like a shield. She lowered her eyes. Yes," she whispered. "But I don't have any money." The shopkeeper chuckled warmly and waved a dismissive hand. "That doesn't matter. Come here, you're my guest." She went inside and returned with a small warm cake and a glass of milk so fresh it still steamed in the cold air. The girl's eyes widened. She took them with trembling hands. "Thank you," she whispered. She sat on a small wooden bench outside the bakery and took a tiny bite. The sweetness hit her tongue, and before she could stop herself, a tear rolled down her cheek. Then another, and another. The shopkeeper sat beside her, her old bones moving carefully in the cold. "What happened, dear?" she asked softly. The girl wiped her face with her sleeve. "It's just," her voice cracked. "I'm grateful for your kindness. You don't even know me. And yet, my own mother yelled at me and threw me out of the house." The shopkeeper's eyes softened with the kind of understanding only age can bring. She didn't scold the girl. She didn't defend the mother. She simply asked, "My child, how can you think this way?" She placed a gentle hand on the girl's back. "My child, I only gave you a small piece of cake. Your mother," her voice warmed, "your mother has been feeding you every single day for years." The girl froze. Her breath caught in her chest. The woman continued, "It is easy to thank me for this little kindness, but your mother has given you far more than you realize." The girl swallowed hard, her pride faltering. "Then why did she shout at me?" she whispered. The shopkeeper smiled sadly. "Sometimes love carries a weight heavier than anger can hold. When you hurt, your mother hurts too. When you are afraid or confused, your mother feels it twice." She brushed a tear from the girl's cheek. Deep love doesn't always speak gently, but it always acts gently. Something inside the girl softened, a realization, quiet, painful, true, settled heavily in her heart. She had run away from the one person who loved her most. She thanked the shopkeeper, held the last bite of cake in her hand like a small treasure, and hurried back down the icy street. Her breath puffed in clouds before her as she approached her home. She expected darkness, stillness, silence. Instead, her mother stood outside, arms wrapped tightly around herself, eyes fixed on the road. She looked exhausted, worried, and when she spotted her daughter, relief washed over her face so quickly it looked like a sunrise breaking through storm clouds. "Oh, sweetheart," she said breathlessly. "There you are." She rushed forward, cupped her daughter's face, and whispered, "Hurry inside, the food will get cold." And just like that, the girl's tears returned. But this time, they weren't from anger. They were from understanding, from seeing clearly what she hadn't seen before. The warmth in her mother's voice, the tremble in her hands, the fear that she might not come back. She stepped into her mother's arms, not as a child demanding answers, but as a child finally understanding love. Some lessons arrive through hardship, some through distance, some through a stranger handing us a warm piece of cake on a cold night. But the deepest lessons often come from one simple truth. We sometimes cherish the kindness of strangers more than the love we receive every day. We thank the person who gives us a moment of comfort, but ignore the person who has spent years caring for us without asking for anything in return. We feel grateful when someone does something small for us, and frustrated when those we love make mistakes. But here is what life quietly teaches. A stranger's kindness can warm your heart, but a mother's love keeps you alive. A stranger gives you comfort for a moment,
but family gives you comfort for a lifetime. The girl didn't learn this lesson through lecture or punishment or guilt. She learned it through contrast, through seeing how deeply a mother's love runs when compared to the smallest gesture from someone else. And maybe we all need reminding. If someone at home cooks for you, worries for you, fights for you, waits for you, they deserve your gentleness, not your anger, your gratitude, not your silence, your patience, not your distance. Love isn't perfect. Love argues, love stumbles, love gets tired, but love also waits outside in the cold, hoping you'll come home. So if there is someone in your life whose love you've taken for granted, go home. Say thank you. And don't wait for a stranger to remind you of the love that has been there all along.
Wherever life leads you, may you never overlook the hearts that love you quietly, faithfully, and every day. Every story is a whisper of life. May yours be one that spreads kindness,